Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And for those who are watching us from a different time zone, good morning or good evening. My name is Marilyn. I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited, or CTS. And we are passionate about helping leaders and organizations who are continuous learners and action takers to transform and thrive in all aspects by co-creating customized program with our world-class resources. We have served over 3,000 leaders from over 30 countries in different industries, and that includes Petronas, Sony Mobile, PruLife UK, Ayala Group, Chevron, Tencent, Jollibee Foods Corporation, and Shell, to name a few. And the reason why we are organizing this intervention is for us to be able to hopefully help leaders or inspire, at least inspire leaders who don't know how to stay relevant and adapt to the next normal. Those who find it stressful to lead and ensure performance of a remote team. And for those leaders who are actually afraid that they can't keep their team or their business. So, to be able to stay relevant and continue to lead effectively in any situation, please do join us in several interventions that we organize and we can help you with. So for today, it's good morning for the leader that I'm interviewing, and I'm super excited because I'm interviewing someone who's amazing and also a friend of mine and part of the community that I'm in. And Deniz Erkus is a former corporate warrior with 27 years of solid international experience. She is an impact investment catalyst and influencer. Dennis' purpose is to merge finance and investment with impact, mindset, and movement. And her goal is to activate sustainable businesses to have a positive impact on the planet and humanity while raising awareness in investors and stakeholders of a green circular economy, creating a carbon neutral world. Wow, that's really like amazing just to read that introduction. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Marlan. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very
It's my
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you, definitely, Dennis, and I'm super excited. I mean, because I would say this topic, leadership and transformation, plus, connecting it to what you are, moving towards, or your vision and your purpose is into, impact, mindset, and movement, where planet and humanity has to be integrated, is something I'm always excited to have a
Mhm.
conversation in, because, sometimes some leaders would actually look into just profit, and without so much consideration to the planet and the people that they're working with in the first place, right? So I'm super excited to learn more from you on this. So just to start with, I mean, to brief, especially those who are new in our platform, the first three question would be basically to understand from which perspective you're coming from. The four to six question would be, I would say, the meaty or juicy part of the conversation, where we would,
Mhm.
learn so much from you, I would say. And the seven to eight question would be the interesting, very interesting part, because these are very open questions. And this is something that I would always say my Miss Universe questions for you.
Mhm.
So to start with, please do share with us your leadership experiences. If you have like influencers that you look up to, or if you have a leadership style that you are like more inclined to use based on your past experiences, please do share with us.
Yes, of course. Thank you. As you know, I come from the audit environment. So I worked at Pricewaterhouse, and we always worked as a team, and as a team leader, senior manager, up to the level, we always had a certain responsibility. So
Sure.
the teamwork, that's how I learned there, and I appreciate and I continue with that approach all the time, because if the team overall do not come together for the common objective, common purpose, whatever the leader will do is not going to work. This is my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I got the awareness on the leadership style, where we openly share and we do the work together and guiding instead of asking them to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there is always this word use authority for a leader. For me, authority is actually the person to go to when somebody needs to. Rather than being like authoritarian, you know, I think they are very different. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's something that the team becomes confident with the leader and shares, and then the results are much more you know, at the end in line with the purpose. I mean, to be honest, I worked in the 27 years in the corporates. um, I cannot say except one person that I met when I was reporting to New York when I was auditor. She was like the person that I would love to be like. So it's important to follow an ideal that we create. You know, how she was speaking, how she was influencing higher level people than her level, just by the way she was approaching to them. It was never you know, aggressive. It was never soft. It was just such a balance
Mm-hmm.
that uh, she was making things get done. And then she had a very good career as well. I learned the leadership more from the errors that I have seen with the leaders I worked in my corporate life. But as the big names, you know, Michelle Obama for me is the person I will call like the leader, because of the authority and then the way she behaves and she speaks. Are we listen to her? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the person that, you know, I really admire. And the Warren Buffett, because you know, I'm in the investment world. I'm in impact investing, uh, you know, influencer and catalyst, and I'm actually working with the venture now with the Leone Hill Capital and an IHV fund, which is the Invisible Heart Venture. So as you see, you know, there is the part of the, you know, the planet humanity in the name.
Mm-hmm.
And there I see that you know, he always learns. You know, he's like investing expert, but he spends a lot of time on reading. And that's how I believe that we can be leader by continuously learning, open to transformation, and be good master in what we are doing.
Wow, that's really amazing. I mean, we're just getting started and we're already getting a lot of, um, insights from you just to share, just by sharing, like, who are the leaders that you look up to, as well as the experience that you have and why you actually, like, noticed or like look up to that leaders that you work with. And what really got my attention, like, I mean, it's easy for us to, like, um recall the, like, famous names like Michelle Obama. And I would say, like, I don't know if I write it correctly in my summary, but I would say you've mentioned about her influence, her authority, and again, I would say that's the confidence she actually, like, show to other people, to influence them, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And at the same time, Warren Buffett for, um, you know being a continuous learner. I would say you've mentioned
mhm,
about him, like, reading, and understanding more and mastering,
mhm,
whatever he does, right? Which is,
mhm,
yeah, that's really amazing, and that's what leaders should be, right?
mhm.
So
Yes.
I mean, having shared your experience in your audit, company before as a corporate warrior, as well as the, leaders that you look up to, what would you say is your definition of what leadership is?
Um, First thing is learning to listen,
Mm-hmm.
um, because we tend to speak a lot, but not to hear what others are saying around the table.
Mm-hmm.
I think the listening and then responding by conscious responding, thinking actually what the response needs to be. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we all need to we need to learn, and do it. Really, that should be a part of our daily time, not only for work, but in the family, with the friends, always the same.
Mm-hmm.
And um, and then witnessing, a bit related to the listening, watching the roles of people, and really connect to those people to be able to do the purpose that why we are gathering together. Then the words we are going to say will be wiser and more influential and to the point, rather than talking a lot of words do not mean that much. So that also gives empowerment, because people respect when we we say the things that are applicable to the discussion, when we add value to it, and when
Mm-hmm.
we inspire them. So inspiration is very important too.
Mm-hmm.
Then they listen to us as a leader. So it goes always the two ways, and we cannot be leader on our own, but we can do leader of ourselves too. So we need to be also leader for me, and then for the others. So empowerment, guiding rather than telling someone what to do,
Mm-hmm.
working in the same path together, I will say,
Mm-hmm.
connecting rather than assigning tasks, and then asking questions. Did you do that? Did you do this? Because I lived through that, and I really was very, very not happy, when these things were happening. And also leadership is not only for with the peers, or direct reports. Actual leadership is also with the people at the higher level. I gave the example of my experience in the company. She was influencing the others, and that shows leadership. Leadership
Mm-hmm.
is in every dimensions. Leadership for me, leadership for my daughter at home, leadership for the friends. So we take action, and we take conscious action to achieve something, so that the others can follow. They get inspired. So that's very important. So to me, is a lifestyle rather than just something at work. Not everybody will be leader. I mean, some people are going to be followers, some people are going to be witnessing, but everybody will have something they have in their power, in their mind, in their body, a power where they can be a leader of. So the learning and being aware of that power is very important. Everybody is leader of something. And also the information. I mean, that used to be more important in the past. In my time when I joined, it was more like where I studied, what do I know, knowledge, diplomas and all those things, which I did many of them. But now it's changing, and it is a balance now between the knowledge and intuition and the soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
This is something very important too. Leaders do not need to know everything, do not need to, um, you know, be, knowledgeable on every area. The main thing, they need to have people around them, have a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with them, and then there's a confidence and connection between those people supporting them. Then they can be a very powerful leader, because they can focus on what they need to do,
Mm-hmm.
rather than in every many point. And focus is a big power as well. So creativity, that's another one. And also leader, uh, it stays up level, but when the time is necessary, needs to go into the detail. Really, the devil is in the detail, as we call it. When there's something to find out, then
Mm-hmm.
then also leaders should be able to work with the clerks, and the people, and understand and learn, and what he or she is looking for. So be humble, actually, is very important. Yeah, I have a lot of things, but I will. And creativity, inspiration, empowerment, I think is very, very important.
Mhm. Wow, that's really a lot from you sharing us with about leadership. And I've also shared in several summaries about what you've shared. And what I really like about, or like one of the favorites that I have from what you just shared, is really like more of being able to leadership is generally a lifestyle. When I was younger, or in the corporate world as well, I've always thought, like, for me to become a leader, it's always, oh, I have to be the department head, I have to be the manager or whatnot.
Mhm, mhm.
And I think it's all about the position, because obviously, you get to that level or to that position for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Um, and and while having this conversation, then that leadership is actually a lifestyle. And that really, like, very interesting, because I've said, like, oh, okay, now that I've been running all these interviews and the programs that we have run, mostly customized for clients, I said, like, okay, it's not actually about having that position. It's rather than what you actually do, like, as a parent, as an individual, as part of the team, and not really the position, right? And that's really very interesting
Mhm,
for me. And really, I would say, like, not only mind blowing, but also like a realization that I
mhm,
should had
mhm.
in the past. And before I continue, I just wanted to acknowledge, Muhammad Ayub. He's actually joining us from LinkedIn. Um,
Thank you.
and we also have, like, some audience coming from the YouTube as well. So if you're listening through YouTube, LinkedIn or Facebook, feel free to, like, send in your comments, your love, and ask your questions if you have anything. We will do our best. Dennis and I will do our best to, like, accommodate any of your clarifications or questions around the topic, right? So I mean, you've mentioned several things as well, in terms of, like, leadership is also, like, about having power, and at the same time, like, still being, somehow vulnerable when it's needed, right? And obviously, like, during the pandemic, there's a lot of trust issues, vulnerability that happened as well, and, like, some challenges, I would say, that was brought about, like, from working from home and all those stuff, which not a lot of us are used to. And so I'm curious to know, like, based on your experience, how would you define or describe the next normal? That's what we've been hearing all about, right? What's the next normal? What's the new normal? Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, of course. I respond as like a which next normal. So I don't think we have a next normal, new normal, new next normal, normal. But the main thing is to be open to change. We change ourselves, the way we see things. We need to adapt to the change, and we need to be a leader for the change. So change is there. I mean, this is how the environment we are living now. So we either adapt, or we are going to stay, still, and then we'll feel the problems and then the impact of the current situation in the world in a very different way. So to me is resilience is the key. I mean, resilience is one of my mantras was saying falling forward. So we needed a lot of resilience during that time. We started not going out as much as possible. I was at home with the Zoom, and there were a lot of limitations to go here and there. But what I did is I worked on myself. I used that time, I worked on myself. I wanted to find what I really want to do. I searched for what is the business I want to work in, and that's where actually I improved a lot in terms of knowledge and in terms of personal development during that time, because mentally I was ready to stay at home and work on myself rather than being unhappy and complaining and reacting to it. So people who or people companies, all these entities and people, I would say, who will resist to change
Mm-hmm.
will have more problem going forward, because with the new things happening in the world, with the even the currencies, the way the system is changing, the way we make payments are changing, the way we consider cash. At some point we are not going to pay the cash, so we cannot get attached to those things in the past. We just need to move forward with the change and follow it. And if we are powerful enough and leadership skills enough that we have, then we can also be with that change and then lead it. So to me is the vision and purpose is the compass for the next normal.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to find, as individuals, as companies, what is our purpose, what we are doing, for what reason. And always there is going to be the discussion on the planet and humanity, thanks back to the impact again, because that's where the world is moving. I mean, we know all this Paris Agreement, all the COP26 and the discussions there is. We need to consider that we are not the only people living on Earth. We need to also attach, connect, and work together with what we have on the planet. And we need to respect other people's wishes, other people's the way they are. So I think that I would say more consciousness. There's also more awareness on that, the mindset and consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
More people are getting that type of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
What I came to the world for, what is my purpose, what I'm good at, how can
Mm-hmm.
I contribute. More this way people will start thinking. More next normal will be another normal, because then we won't ask these questions, what's going to be next, because
Mm-hmm.
nobody knows what's to do next. We don't know why 5 minutes later what's going to happen. So we just need to be present and find our purpose, and then just be open to change, be resilient if we fail, and we get up, and each time we fail and we move forward, and not asking this, what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next, is just be the change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, uh, it's very common, I would say, that a lot of people are talking about, changes, adapting to changes, which is kind of usual when we talk about new normal, next normal, or however they call it. But again, it's good to be reminded, and that you've actually, shared it with us again, that being reminded of your vision, of your mission, of your why, of your purpose in life, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that last night I was actually attending a training, and we were actually, Jonathan is um training us more around vision and how it actually affects not only your organization, but also like how you work, how you respond, and how you do a lot of the things, not only with your customers, but also with your suppliers, with your partners, and and everyone that are involved in the business, including your employees. And yeah, and it boils down into to the vision that we have in the first place, and the purpose why we actually started the business, right? So thank you so much for reminding us that, and that's what I wanted to highlight among all the things that you've shared in this conversation, because I think that's also something that, especially for those who are like somehow looking for hope, or need some reminder that why don't you start to ask yourself in, like, what's your why did you even start,
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
get started in the business, or like whatever you are doing right now.
mhm,
And
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
so thank you for reminding us with that. And I'd like to thank William Torres for sharing us a heart, a love. Thank you so much, and appreciate your
Thank you.
you engaging with us. And so that leads me now to the next questions, or the meaty portion of the conversation, where although we've got and learned so much from you, even we haven't reached this question.
Thank you.
uh, you know, from being a corporate leader, you've mentioned you had 27 years of corporate experience. I mean, definitely working with corporate leaders, and now as a consultant and board member, and also founder of your own company, working with corporate leaders, obviously, as well. So, what would you say are the top three problems that leaders do normally face?
One is the ego. We always think about ourselves first, but leadership is also, as we discussed, connecting to others. We
Mhm.
cannot just be leader only by thinking ourselves. So that's
Exactly.
the reason that, I was struggling in many cases. I mean, possibly I was one of them. I was in the sleeping mode then. I was one of them. I was also thinking, what I'm going to get out of that. There is always this, in the meeting, what can I always, I thinking is not the way that the leadership um, should be working going forward.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is the competition. I mean, I am competitive. I was competitive. I am still competitive, but I call it conscious competition. So there was a lot of competition in my world because I work with large institutions. In different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Some are very heavy, some of them are light. I would say, depending on the culture, the values of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that also breaks a lot of relationships. I created a lot of friendships in my work life, um, and the people that I talk to as of now actually come only from a few companies, because the other ones I could not create this nice relationships that I could move forward, after years after that, after leaving those companies. So because of this ego and competition, and I was in it, I was one of them. That's the I really say that I was, but I learned that we can have that competition mind to the benefit of the community we work on, and that's a part of the leadership. When to show that competition and when actually to use it on a positive way to achieve the outcome. And the third one is the balanced life. I did not have a balanced life.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that in many people, because there is work on one side, there is the family ones on the other side, there are
Mm-hmm.
friends, and there is also the family means daughters and sons and parents or animals. I was not able to give the time that I needed
Mm-hmm.
to the family at that point in time. And I know that some of the relationships that I issues that I had, uh, and I had to work on that specifically, was because I was not able to dedicate enough time for those relationships, including my daughter at that point in time. So that's very important. And I always there is this overwhelmed leaders. We need to do the multitasking now with the new way of looking. I would say multitasking is a lack of focus, so we don't achieve anything because we try to do so many things at the same time. So what we were doing in the past is changing, which is a good thing, I think, in my opinion. And
Mm-hmm.
the balanced life is very important, because if we don't have it, brings to depression. It brings to, really, it breaks us. We don't become the person that we are normally. We show somebody else to others, and that is the problem on the corporate side. Not on the corporate side, on the every level. It happens in the family life level as well. um, that is, to me, is one of those, when we work on the impact, we also look on the health. This is the
True.
one SDGs, well-being. So that is very important for the health of the humanity overall, because depression is creates sicknesses. It's mental disease plus physical disease, and that is a problem for us as a humanity at every age level. So I can summarize in those three. There are a lot of topics underneath, but it's really like, we should not live like a robot in life. We should be human, and that can happen only with balancing different balls in the same day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. That's really, I would say, very painful. What you've shared, but really spot on. Yeah, because I mean, like a lot of leaders are really like struggling from working on their ego, and I mean, it's kind of natural for us to really like I or be so addicted to what we want, what you
Yeah.
know and all, or what I can get out of it,
Mhm.
always that, like. And it's interesting, like you've also mentioned about competition, and the way I work or my business has been thriving is mainly a lot on collaboration. And for some reasons, I've never seen like even other training providers as a competition, but then, oh, I sometimes even get excited. Oh, they're good at this. I
Yeah.
want to collaborate with them. I
Mhm.
I always like see it that way. Well, for some reasons, and again, lack of balance, not only with leaders, but that's I also something that I've struggled with as an entrepreneur, and as a mother myself. I like a lesson learned for
Mhm.
me last year when I was hospitalized, in fact, because of burnout, stress. And again, like, I have three children, small children as well, including. So, it's something that we, we don't take for granted, right? I mean, and again, like, I'm thankful that not only that you reminded us again about this lack of balance and how important balance is, but at the end of the day, right, the reason why we are doing a lot of things is because we wanted to provide for family. And sometimes we tend to forget, like, why are you actually working in the first place, right? Or why are you doing this in the first place, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes, some leaders tend to forget, like, they do so much things at work or in their business, and like tend to forget about what matters most, their relationship, their family, and all those stuff, right? So, like, it's really a great reminder, and thank you for that, Dennis, for sharing this to us. And before I ask you the next question, I just want to acknowledge Sophia for giving us a heart, sending our as a love as love, during this conversation. And mm, yeah, I mean, like, we've talked a lot about leadership, and obviously the problems that most do face.
Mhm.
Again, I said it's spot on and somehow painful at the same time, right? But
Yeah.
we're not gonna leave them with just the problem. So what do you believe would be the important capabilities and skills leaders must have in the next normal in order to continue to lead effectively?
Mhm.
So it's somehow like answering the top problems you've shared, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, listening is one, and that's something that we all need to learn. I'm more consciously learning and doing, and hopefully I'm doing it. Uh, and we talked about the vision, mission. with no purpose to achieve. We all, this is the mindset, we need to have a purpose and to work for that one, for that goal.
Mhm.
This is this is this is for everyone, but leadership is for leaders is very important because they will need to guide the others towards a goal, and
Mhm.
to really give the excitement to empower them. They need to share that vision and that goal so that they can walk for it. They can walk through it together. So I bring more to community concept here. I talked about the
Mhm.
teams and community. I think that's the leaders. They should have the consciousness and the maturity to work with different people of different profiles. So it comes the power of creating the relationships. It comes the power of guiding them. Actually mentoring them to find their purpose and whether they are aligned, and to really bring them to the next level in their journey in life too. I mean, this is the, in my opinion, the responsibility of a leader. So that leader will be a mother or father for the child. That leader can be even for our parents, can be at work for the team, can be asking the right questions to our boss.
Mhm.
This is, I should be able to say as a leader openly with no
Mhm.
fear of judgment, be really vulnerable and say, this is my goal, this is the thing, and then are we aligned, because that's very important for productivity, to be efficient, for profitability. Because I believe, I'm in the impact investing, I believe that leaders work for a profit benefit outcome,
Mhm.
as much as making an impact on planet and humanity as overall.
Mhm.
uh, and soft skills, I think soft skills are getting more and more important. And when in my time the soft skills were negotiation skills or presentation skills, now soft skills went deeper. It goes into the mind, it goes how we communicate with people, it goes how we write, what type of words we use. Are we using powerful words or are we using just common words? So are we inspiring rather than giving the knowledge? In the past, like a leader for me was, I learned from that person
Mhm.
technical things, but I also appreciated a lot who gave me feedback on
Mhm.
the what I was not doing right for that person. So there is a positive and negative feedback, and we should take easily the both feedbacks, because there is always something to learn from and make it better, doing and becoming better.
Mhm.
So leader should be able to give authentic and
Mhm.
constructive feedback,
Mhm.
positive or negative, and that is going to be a growth contribution for the other person who receives that feedback.
Mhm.
And I'm not one of the most tech person, but we need to be friend of technology innovation, because this is the future. I mean, this is now and the future. We need to be open to it. We need to learn it. We need to learn. We need to work with the people who know what to do. And technology, innovation, impact. These are the three big things that are happening, and we need to be friends, with that those concepts, and healthy, conscious relationship with money. uh,
Mhm.
Money is important, but money is not the ultimate goal. Money is a tool to be able to create what we want to create in life. So that mindset is important. Then we also connect and align our earnings, our profitability, successes, our abundance, prosperity, all those wonderful things, aligned with our purpose. And I mean, it looks a bit too like over the top, but this is a learning stage. Uh,
Mhm.
the giving, earning, giving, and receiving, it's is to me going to be a part of our life moving forward. So we all need to be getting ready to it. And in the investment world, investing, for example, is not only looking at the financials and then, if that company is, doing this and that, is also using our intuition and our skills of communicating and reading from the movement and the words of the others, around the table, because that's the soft skill, I call it. But intuition is very important, on the investing world. So, and the creativity, of course, open to creativity from others and be creative ourselves as leaders.
Wow, it's interesting that you've actually mentioned about intuition as well. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, that's really like something that you don't normally talk within the corporate world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being intuitive of some of the decisions or actions that you take, right?
Yeah.
And I've been actually very interested in this as I work on self discovery and self mastery recently. And and you've mentioned as an impact investor, you also have to like follow your intuition in terms of
Yeah.
making decisions in your
Mm-hmm.
investment, which is very interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the top three that you've mentioned earlier, listening, and of course being reminded of your vision and mission again and again, and conscious relationship. But what I'm hearing a lot around what you've shared, more than the top three that I've summarized just now, it's really around a lot to do with communications.
Mm-hmm.
On the soft skills part, a lot of what you have shared is around communications, from listening, and it that's also one, I would say, realizations or silver lining that the pandemic has brought about, um, with Clubhouse, and other ways for us to be able to communicate, to hone our listening skills, because again,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that has been somehow forgotten
Yeah.
in the communications part, right? And obviously, for you to really build that conscious relationship that you've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned as well, having that open communication would be important. Like, the words, the tones, like what you've said, even the authentic feedback that you are, giving to the person that you are communicating with, right? And all of these are like, you've highlighted, I would say, like, uh, that you've highlighted much more on the communications, which a lot of leaders do struggle with, based on the conversations we had in our previous summit as well. So again, like, it's again a reminder for everyone to pay attention on how you communicate with others. And we've been talking about like, some leaders that you look up to because of their continuous learning, and we've also talked about leadership and the changes that we have to embrace somehow. So what do you believe will be the role of learning, leadership, and transformation in order to thrive?
Learning is a part of our life. So whatever age we are, we there's always something to learn. The main thing is to choose the good one that is suitable the most to what we want to achieve, and then learning all the necessary, technical, or soft skill, or anything that we need to achieve that goal. So generally, I went into the learning when I got a mentor. Because I didn't have a mentor. We tried in the corporate world, but it was never like the mentorship that I have seen 4 years ago. So that brought me a completely different level. The thing is, the mentors, they tell us what we need to work on and what we are good at. it's a very different feedback, and it's really like that moved me. I did a lot of programs actually, so I was like I'll call it like sponge for information. I was just taking everything in because I had knowledge on the investment world, the in the past with the experience plus the education and additional CFA that I did a few years ago. I mean, 5 years ago, and the I was really, I will describe it as hungry to learn how I can bring my soft skills and mindset at a different level, and I didn't know that the mindset existed before. So this is something that a lot of people don't know if they don't know. That's I managed to somehow end up in to Dubai for an adventure. That's where I discovered. So really, to read, learning is to read what is around us, and by going there I was exposed to certain mindset and yogas and meditation, and that brought me completely a different level, because that's also learning. Learning is not only learning about what is the investment and the technology. This is combine it too, is again the balance. Knowledge is a balance. We need to have all
Mm-hmm.
in both of that side. So to me is a part of our life, and more we do this. But as I said, we need to find the right one that is suitable, that is going to bring us to the next level, where we are going to do the job, we are going to work on it. Is a tough one. I really did a lot of work on that,
Mm-hmm.
and um, continuously we need to be present to get the to read what is happening around us, and feel, again, intuition, feel what we need to learn. I'm in the impact world. I felt the need. I need to learn on the impact measurement. That because is very important. So I started learning that one. I got courses, and I
Mm-hmm.
got like I'm in the financing world, but I got a course on the innovative finance because I needed to learn more. So the balance of they complete each other. We
Mm-hmm.
transformation, openness, and vulnerability to accept that we need to learn more is
Mm-hmm.
already a big step. And then finding the good one is the next step. Then transformation is that process. That will come.
Exactly. And that's like, I mean, in my introduction, I've mentioned a lot about how we can actually, like, stay relevant. And
Yeah,
obviously, continuous learning will be key
yeah.
in that pursuit of
Mhm,
excellence, in that
mhm,
pursuit
mhm.
of the goals that we're actually looking forward to attain as well, right? And I, being a leader of ourselves, of our family, of our organizations, you have to stay relevant because the generations nowadays are also, like, changing, are
Yeah.
different, thinking differently. And the same way as how, like, the technology, for example, which you've also mentioned earlier, right? I mean, it's really like moving so fast. The changes are so fast, and if you don't really get to adapt on this technology,
Mhm.
you'll be really left behind, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I
So
know, I know that feeling. So I'm really working hard to do that.
exactly. And so that that moves me to my next questions, which are very interesting questions, I would say. Like, so if you have a magic wand and can use it, what will you do with it?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. Now I love that one. Um, Now, I, one information I want to give before I go into it is my purpose is give the impact, to work on the impact for planet and humanity to make a change
Mm-hmm.
is on a three different levels. Is on the company level, on the investor level, and on the individual level. So being now with the venture, the IHV with Leona Hill, getting few board memberships, I kind of do that. But I believe that individuals is the power, each of us.
Mm-hmm.
So my magic wand will be to put a seed into the brain of every individual. That seed will give them consciousness and will give them the understanding who they are and what they are good at and what they want to create for making an impact in the world. So that seed will grow in each person and will transform from generation to generation. And the reason I say that, because if we don't make that change, the mindset change, and each individual, how we are going to make the change on the investors, and I say, can you please, 2% of your wealth, can you invest in impact? How can we change the mindset of the board, advisory boards, etc., to make this putting the values that in aligned with the impact that we are talking about. So only thing that we can really make it sustainable change in the world is giving that seed to the humanity, and then that is going to grow. And we are talking all the climate change, and then I know my generation, I think, was the worst one. We contributed the most without knowing it because we didn't know. I'm thinking now my daughter, the she may not be able to see the nature that I have seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So how we can change that? We need to leave a better world normally for the next generation. So that seed could be the tool, that could be a tool, or maybe I would say the recipe, the medicine
Mm-hmm.
for the planet and humanity, the climate change, and etc. I'm also the climate reality leader. I'm quite excited about that one. If you go into that one, we will have another hour. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, with the work that you're doing right now, on impact investing, it's somehow really like, having this seed, um, to the people that you work with, right? So even without the magic wand, in one way or another, and even through this message that, we're actually like, hoping that we're consciously seeding, people on, like, what are you good at, what do you love
Mhm,
to do, right?
mhm,
What you are here for, what's your purpose, right? And it's interesting, I've been like, listening to this audiobook on Gene Keys. I don't know if you've heard of it. I
mhm.
probably mentioned that
Yeah.
in our previous conversation, where, the good news is that, humanity is actually like, moving towards consciousness. I mean, obviously, with what happened during the pandemic in the last over 2 years, this has opened up like a lot of, opportunities for us to think through of, like,
Mhm,
the things that
mhm,
we are doing and the things that we are not doing, in fact,
mhm, mhm,
and that we have to do as well, like, having that alignment and having that consciousness in the decision that we make, not only for our business, not only for our family, but also the planet where we live in, right? And again, it will only be holistic and sustainable, right, if we
yes.
get to manage and balance all of these, right? So
Mhm,
that's really
mhm.
interesting, and I really hope you have a magic wand, even if I, but at
Okay.
least, somehow in in your work, you manage to, somehow like seed that to your clients and the people that you work with.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
thank you for that. And so that leads me to my last question. If you were to ask yourself a question that you can best answer, what would it be? If you'd like to answer, that question, in fact, and share with us, feel free to do so as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I thought a lot about that one. The question I would ask, how did you find the power in you when it was sleeping for many years? Um, the reason is I thought the power was what I was earning, my
Mhm.
level, what title I have, how many people I manage, the companies I work for, are they known? Of course, this gave me an unmeasurable, is immense, credibility working in that. But at that point in time, my power was used in a different way. It was more doing and doing, 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 rather than creating. Um, so the how did I find it is my journey, learning journey. That's my transformation journey on the on myself, on my environment, on my circle around me, the whole transformation that I went through since 2018. Actually, that's when I started getting a mentor and learning, because I accepted that to move forward and to recover from the depression times that I had. Um, I needed to work on myself first to be able to perform, and that was the power. That was the seed I got, and then I continued working on this one, by being vulnerable again, and by being that one I learned, the last year, the being comfortable with uncomfortable, really doing new things, not no fear of being judged, because who's the why the other person's judgment is important for me. I say, it's what I'm doing is important for me, and I am I aligned with my vision again. That's the question I'm asking always. That's the power, finding who I am, and then what I'm doing, what I'm earning from, what I'm giving to the world, what I'm taking, receiving from the world. They should be all aligned with my vision, and that's the empowerment. That's the power. And also, I believe this is very important for the woman, and this is one of these sustainable development goals of the woman empowerment. Now the change in community tribe system, being more open with talking about mindfulness, consciousness, is coming from we go into an era where women actually will start to get empowered, and that is going to bring the balance that we talk about, from profitability, with all costs, to profitability with impact. That's where we are going to go. And women, they need to really show up, speak up, and
Mhm.
put the feminine energy into that world, and the balance between masculine and feminine will create the balance in the planet. So
Mhm.
that's the power that I got. This and also I got it because of my facilitating training. So that's so important, and is in us. We just need to figure out and then find out and explore and discover and grow it. That's what the power is. Yeah, I expect everyone really with that seed to find their power so that they contribute.
Yes, that's really beautiful, and I love how you shared it in your own story, in your own journey of going through probably some challenges in the past, and again being comfortable, um, being uncomfortable, and being open minded to learn new things, and you know understand things, like because sometimes when we are in the situation, we don't really like don't really somehow get it right, that what's happening to me, or like
Mhm.
why am I facing this, why do I have to go through this, and all those stuff.
Yeah,
But in
yeah,
fact, this is something that we have to go through, and like in the I would say the language of Gene Keys that I've mentioned with you, it's really like going through all those shadows
yeah.
to see those gifts that we have, which you call power, for that matter, right? And it's really amazing that we are all unique and we are powerful
Yeah.
beyond, beyond our knowledge.
Mhm.
And we are all unique, and we all have our own purpose to, to share in this world. And so it's really like about living the best version of you,
Mhm. Yes.
using your superpower for the good of, like, most people around you, right? So
Mhm.
and when we do that, when we just, be,
Mhm.
just being is already a gift to, not only to yourself but also to the people around you,
Yeah.
to the world, in fact,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
isn't that amazing, right?
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
know that, information, that, everyone is powerful. And again, you've mentioned another interesting, thing that you've mentioned is about that feminine energy or
Mhm.
feminine power, right? Because, again, like, that's also, like, I would say, like a silver lining that we had recently. Like, it doesn't have to be really a woman or a man
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Mhm.
general, but, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us,
Mhm.
and it's really like having that balance, as you
Mhm.
said, as well. And really like incorporating more and more of that feminine energy within the leadership as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I think we go for system, we go for process, we do this profitability and all the, we're so focused on all those metric, and we sometimes miss out on, like, the people, the planet, which are
Mhm.
also very important. And the relationships that we need to build to nurturing our team and all those stuff, which are
Yeah.
normally missing out in most organizations, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But at least, through this conversation, at least we hope to inspire or,
Absolutely. Mhm.
remind people about how important it is to have that feminine energy, or strengths within the
Mhm.
organization,
Mhm.
matter if you're a man or, you know
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
thank you. So I really loved our conversation, and we've, gone over, an hour. So, that's really the end of our conversation. Unless, is there something like, or a message that you'd like to leave our audience with before we end this interview?
Yeah, I have one sentence I want to share. I will request and ask um, to do one good thing a day.
Mm-hmm.
This can be supporting one person. This can be just throwing, the garbage into recycling. Um, to teach one person something, um, one good thing a day. Because if every person, and I'll come to the individuals again, if we have this like one good thing, obviously means that aligned with the planet and humanity. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then we will need change. And imagine all those, the billions of people in the world do one good thing a day. How powerful that could be. It's important to define what good is. So which is good for planet and humanity. But that's something like I call it slogan for me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
to leave it this way in the minds, maybe a little seed in there to the listeners, that consciously thinking about that good thing, and then they can do. It's not going to take time, no effort, no money. It's just one good thing a day in the mind.
Wow,
Thank you.
thank you. That's really a powerful message, I would say. So, thank you so much, Denise, for, I would say, this is a very powerful and impactful, conversation with you. So, thank you so much, for sharing your insights, and your experience or your journey with us. And also, thank you for those who are actually watching us or who will watch us in the replay. And I hope you got something and learned something out of this conversation. And, do join us in this journey to create more opportunities to have more consciousness and to really have or to create like more the world that we believe in and that we will be happy to be in, right? And remember that even the richest investors in the world, including Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
said that investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever
Mm,
make in your
mhm.
life. So
Yeah.
with that, we would like to leave everyone with this quote, that if your actions create legacy that inspires others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Denise,
Thank you
and
so
thank
much for the
you
invitation,
everyone for
and I
joining us.
really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye for now.
Bye bye. Bye, everyone.